26th day in the month of November. Yes, the month of November has gradually come to an end. Just a few days to December. And also, we're counting down gradually to Christmas. This is the newspaper review here on TAP TV. This is where we bring you the newspaper headlines across newspapers around Nigeria. So if you're just seeing this video for the first time, you are in the right place, and we are glad to have you join us on this beautiful Monday as we go through the newspapers headlines together. And to do these headlines with me is our usual suspect, Victor Sioko. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you.
Same here.
How was your weekend, though?
Smooth, and will I say it was worth it, because I find myself doing what I love doing, and it's about tree planting.
Yeah.
Myself and the Rotary Club of Port Harcourt, ECO, we are out there in the street of Eastern Bypass to plant trees along East Axis, and you know the importance of planting trees.
Of course, trying to just, stabilize our ecosystem. And it's a good thing that you brought this up, because people no longer know, or people no longer take very serious cognizance of the fact that trees around us are very important. I mean, this air you're breathing, there are no trees. You find it very difficult to, breathe free. So yeah, if you have trees around you, you don't have live flower. I have one in front of my house. I have flowers planted in front of it, and I water them every time. Keeps me busy and all of that. So yeah, if you don't have one around you, please do that. And of course, I'm going to also teach my children how to do this.
And look at by your side.
Of course, yeah.
You're representing.
Take it very important. All right, so you see that, and let's go into the business of the day, and begin to see what the headlines are looking like within the last 24 hours. And we'll begin with Daily Sun newspaper for today, the 26th day in the month of November 2023. And from the top here, it says, Ojuku's 12th memorial, Igbo heavily indebted to Jonathan. Igbos heavily indebted to Jonathan. Bianca says ex-president stood by Igbo leader in life, death. 26th of the Daily Sun newspaper is where you find that story. That's the 26th page. We'll move on to the main headline on the Daily Sun. It says here, banks jittery over fresh recapitalization plan. OPS orders asks CBN to peg banks' capital base at 100 billion naira. DMBs begin merger talks. All right, page 2 is where you get details of the story. We also see here as headline, Abuja residents on edge as bandits terrorize 4 area councils. Beggars banned in federal secretariat. Page 4 is where you get the full story. We move on to the next story right under that. It says 87 trillion naira debt. Suspend loans to Nigeria's 36 states over misspending. Sharap tells World Bank. And page 6 is where that details is in full. We also see here Deputy Speaker Kalu Moll's bill for national apprenticeship scheme. Page 6 is where the details is in full. We'll jump from that story to this one. It says federal government Amen. And federal government is saying they want to, see what they can do. What do you think is going on?
Tough call, and but if you might not just blame everything to the government as it stands right now. Reason, because we have producers of cooking gas out there that have been targeting to sell their market outside the shores of the country and not considering the local market.
Yeah.
Okay, so the government, after this meeting that they had in Abuja, has said that they have to come up with a proper quota to say that you must, as producers, you must take care of the country first before taking out the product. Okay, so I hope by the end of the day they should come to an agreement, to a quota that will also be favorable to both parties, because at the end of the day this is also business. You cannot also break their hands because they want to also make profits. Okay, but on the other hand, we might not also get the price of cooking gas as down as maybe 50% decrease, because as it stands, to transport the cooking gas you need diesel, and the cost of diesel is
over the rooftop.
Yes. So the marketers were complaining that at a time they were spending about 9 million naira to transport from, let's say, from Lagos to the north, but now it takes them about 15 million naira. So we are talking about 75% increment, and they have to put it in the bill. The marketers will have to put those monies in the bill.
They don't want to run at a loss.
Of course.
They're in business to make profit.
Of course. So these are the issues right now. Nigeria, we have gas reserves that I don't know which year will finish them up. Okay, but you find out that almost the same thing happening. Well, gas is thriving, than the crude and the other fuels. Okay. Because at the end of the day, we are always expecting NLNG to give back to the country. It is money that the federal government are always expecting, and they don't fail to make sure that they give Nigeria that money at the end of the day. But then we know the NNPC, that is a different story altogether. So at the end of the day, I just pray that they will come together, okay, find a lasting solution. Because if you notice too, kerosene is too expensive, and the culture, Nigerians are now withdrawing from using kerosene. It's been about gas, and we found out that gas is easier to use. Okay, it's cleaner.
Then it's cleaner.
Yes.
Because, the fear for kerosene is that most of the products are being adulterated.
Yes.
It causes explosion.
Exactly. When last did you hear that person is burned because of kerosene? Okay.
Because a lot of people are moving on to using gas.
Of course.
The price is now looking very high, and then it's beginning to be a real cause for concern for Nigerians, because it's now, gas is now like what most families use, and there's no story of the poor not using gas. Because now have gas size as the cylinders. We now have as small as we have 3 kgs.
Oh really?
Yes.
There's 3 kg now.
Gas, yes. And
man,
people are using all of this to keep body and soul. And then now the price, 3 kg now you'll be buying over that's how much? So close to 3,000 plus, almost 4,000. So it's the disturbing.
And at the time that just within 1 month it went from 1,000 naira to 1,250. It's just so crazy.
Federal government needs to do something and do it really fast. All right, let's move away from that story. Still on the Daily Sun, we'd like to take on this headline, the one about the banks jittery over fresh recapitalization plan. All right, I like the way the Daily Sun said it. They say they are jittery. So yes, the fears have sprung up from different banks because, of course, CBN governor announced over the weekend that banks will need to review their, capitalization, their capitalization plan, and the last we heard, it was at 25 billion naira to a bank, and even at that amount, a lot of banks fell short of that sum, and they had to merge or sell out. And now here we are again. We see on the report here, it says here. OPS orders ask CBN to peg banks' capital base at 100 billion naira. So if they're looking at 100 billion naira, that means we will lose a lot of the banks that we have today. Or there will be lots of mergers, even though the report is also saying that banks are beginning to have that merger discussions going on. It's happening, and in no time we'll have these banks merging to be able to meet up that capital base. If they peg it at 100 billion naira, well, of course, 100 billion naira, is it such a huge sum for financial institutions to have at their capital base?
It is. 100 billion is plenty, but mind you, the plans for the government is to have an economy of $1 trillion. And for you to have an economy of $1 trillion, you're talking about plenty of money. You need your banks to be so healthy for them to have that backbone, to have to be working within an economy of $1 trillion. Because the banks will need money to do projects. So they need that money to be set aside. But the question now you ask is, how will they be able to get such funds? Okay, because already the economy is tired. Businesses are not going as usual. The purchasing power of Nigerians has really reduced. How will you now be able to make that money? But you also ask the question, how will these banks cope? You find out that the bigger banks, yes, we still have bigger banks that have been churning profits. Very soon the profits will start, the numbers of their profits will start coming out. But then you find out that medium and lower banks will be panicking right now. For lower banks, everybody's looking for the best deal right now, especially for the lower banks. For the big banks who are going to acquire the lower banks, they are at an advantage. But right now, the medium banks will want to merge and not getting bought over, because they want to also be in business. Okay. But then, Mr. Bule, you asked, in 2004 that we had the last capitalization, it was just like you mentioned, it was at 25 billion. And back in those days, that 25 billion, due to exchange rates, it was $187 million. But now, that same 25 billion is now $34 million. Can you see the huge gap? So, with this current exchange rate, how will you be able to get the figure of that 100 billion? How will they now be able to get such funds? That's what we are asking right now. Okay, but then we should be getting ready for panic attacks.
Of course.
Abule, I bet you before that time comes, you get some calls from maybe your friends asking you as a journalist, I beg, my money waiting for so bank, make I go pull up. Which I had last week. Somebody just called me from, I can't remember the person name, but I know somebody called me last week to tell me, sir, my money waiting this bank. I heard this bank won't close. I say, guy, calm down. It never reach.
Well, but then again, the answer to that would be that this is not the first time they are, going about this recapitalization plan. It happened years back, and I don't think people lost their money or anybody lost their money. CBN ensured that people, monies that were meant to be repaid were repaid. And then the ones that moved to other banks, they still had, control over their money. So, of course, all of that is part of the plan. But my worry, in this merger and bought-overs is basically about, the job loss. So whether we like it or not, people are going to lose their jobs when this finally happens. People are going to lose their jobs, and we don't know how much they will be affected, but that's going to happen along the line, thereby putting more pressure on our economy, because a lot of people are, trying to balance themselves into the reality of today, but then more job loss is what we don't hope to see. But so that's why I'm saying, even if it's a good economic plan, I hope they have already put, adequate plans in place to be able to mitigate the ripple effect of, this recapitalization, because, of course, banks are going to become other banks. And then, of course, some of them are going to fade into oblivion because they're unable to, buy them over, or they're able to reach a merger deal. So all of that is in play, but we just hope that it doesn't cause, more problems than, good results, as we hope as Nigerians, to save our economy. All right, let's move away from that story and get into our next paper for today. And that will be the Vanguard for today, the 26th day in the month of November. And on the Vanguard, we have a headline here: local refineries to begin production soon. Tinubu, and page 9 is where that story is in full. Obaseki targets 70 billion naira IGR by 2024. How to prevent electoral shambles by Atahiru Jega. Page 14 is where you get that story. Atahiru Jega coming out to put out this, is an article? How to prevent electoral shambles by Atahiru. Interesting. Did he prevent such during his time?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We move on to the main headline. It says here, hardship. More Nigerians opt for loans to make ends meet. Consumer loans up 34% as inflation, naira depreciation eat up households' income. Banks deploy digitization, product diversification to address demand. Persistent price increase drives households to banks for borrowing. Analyst. All right. I feel like I should stop here. I should not take more headlines because this matter is about most Nigerians. They are talking about loans. I don't want to go any further. It has gotten so bad that, these days, how many phone calls I got just within the week and the weekend of my friends. The ones that they are saying, your friend so and so is owing us money. Please, advise him, if not the next thing, we will report him as dead. And I'm like, okay, thank you very much.
Report him as
dead. Those are the kind of
I am not understanding.
That is what.
Wait, report him that he has died.
He has died. That is
why?
What loan agents. That's what they do. They say all sorts on the phone.
But why? Why would they use that line? In what way will they make the person to come and pay?
Tell your friend to pay our loan, or else we will report his obituary. And I'm like, oh, really?
How?
I said, okay, I've heard you, but it hasn't gotten to that level. I'm the one trying to pacify them to calm down. All right, so and then that's just one case, and it's troubling. It's troubling. I remember the time I had to take loan from one of the loan apps, and then of course it was due a day past the due date. The kind of threats I got. I had to even put my own threats. I told them that you can go ahead and do what you want to do. You say you will do. You publish my name on newspaper dailies. For how much? For 30K. What is it now? 30K. Haba. Publish it now, no problem. But be ready to face legal issues that will be more than 30K because I will not take it. I'll pay your 30K, but you have spoiled my name and you cannot take it back.
But many of them is part of their agreement. If you go and open...
That they will do that to you.
Yes, that they will... You know why? You know how they do it. So why you are... Oh, sorry. First of all, let me even make this clear. Many Nigerians suffer from letting people know that they borrowed money. We have that culture. That borrowing money
is a bad thing.
Is a bad thing, and that you are reducing yourself. My brother man, my sister woman. If you are a family man and you are choked, collecting a loan is not a sin.
Not a sin. No.
If you are a businessman and you need to strike a deal, just imagine I want to strike a deal that will pay me 100% money, and I have a loan that will give me 40%. What do you call it? Charges. I'll not collect the loan and do my business, give them back their 40%, collect my 60%, and move on. Okay? But then we will understand that some persons out there, maybe due to hunger, make person chop. You open the app and die.
And then most times they don't borrow these loans from one app. They can borrow from like 6 of them, and then
to pay the other that has been worrying. So what app is worrying you? You go to the left app, please give me money to settle this one. You go to the left. So that's how many Nigerians have been surviving, Mr. Bule. We cannot shy away from that, okay? Then you ask the question, what is the government doing about this? I think the government is just having a blind eye. Please let people be surviving with this lifestyle. Nigerians are owing bank arms to... I know that many people are hiding, but if you go out on the street and ask,
the banks too.
Yes.
I know people that are owing banks.
Yes,
and they tell you. Of course, we know how the bank interests grow. If you don't pay within a certain time, the money will shoot into the sky and all of that. So, people are borrowing to survive. So it's like it's not a new thing. It's not a new thing.
And to tell you, the business is going well for them.
Of course, it is.
Reason? Why am I saying this? Because you have 100. Loan apps that have collected license from the government, and you still have more that have not collected license. They just went, but men, software guys, app developers are making money from this, so because more are coming in, they are developing apps, managing the apps for them. If you find out, in fact, there is a big competition now because even those loan apps, they are bringing some incentives so that they can beat the others. Okay, a particular loan app, I don't want to mention the name, has, in fact, not even the popular one you take, and I do not mention the name, a mid-size loan app has 5 million app downloads on Play Store.
5 million.
5 million app downloads.
That everybody is now.
A medium one. Just, and that also needs to tell. Maybe we need to run this research that Nigerians are collecting these loans from these apps.
Of course.
Okay. Yes, we'll also understand how these guys can call you. Like they want, in fact, if you don't have self-control, you might run mad. The way they will call you and threaten your father, threaten your mother.
More money.
Oh my God! I have a friend. I know it does not sound nice. If you are owing, you need to pay. Okay, but then I have a friend. That guy has borrowed and told us, say, see, if you want to do anything, do. Call anybody you want to call.
Post my picture area. I want to post it. I don't have the money for you, so stay. In fact, you will be waiting for a new app to come. So that's so crazy.
Oh.
But then it just goes out to say that a lot of Nigerians are doing a lot to keep their head up.
Yeah.
It's not really easy out here. So we hope that most of the economic policies and plans that the federal government has begin to take shape, so that Nigerians can breathe a sigh of relief. This very Christmas, as it were, we're just a few days away from Christmas, less than 20 days or so to Christmas. About 25 days or so to Christmas. And I don't know how the Christmas will be. Although, in the middle of the hardship, I still see a lot of people doing stuff, completing their houses, buying new cars, making plans to travel. All of that is happening. Yes, at a level, that is happening. But at another level, people are losing it. They don't have nothing to keep themselves going. So of course, hence the loan app borrowing and all of that. So, and then you will not, like you rightly said, you don't blame them, because they're in business to make money. And when you borrow this loan on a certain agreement, and you begin to default it, and you're running, these guys are ready to do. The only leverage they have is to reach you on phone. Although we saw some months back where some agents from some of the loan apps now go physically with hefty guys to beat customers up,
harass them, collect their phones, their properties,
seize their laptops, seize stuff to recover their monies. So yes, to that extent, to just want to get their monies back, you won't blame them still. They are in business, like I said, to make money. And if you have continued to swindle their monies and you're trying to evade arrest, and they'll come for you. While you get these monies to keep your head up, please also remember that it's not free money. You will need to pay back at some point, because that's what people do to federal government loans. They collect these loans for their businesses, and of course that's the end of it.
Yeah.
And then trader money, all those money.
Oh.
Till tomorrow, till next year, federal government is waiting to retrieve.
Oh.
So but then, of course, it's a long story. All right, that's all the headlines will be taken from the Vanguard. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll jump into our last paper for the day. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Children's Studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Welcome back from that short break, and we want to thank you so much for staying with us right here on the newspaper review. My name is William Sabule, and we're still looking at the headlines right here on our newspapers, and I'm here with Victor Sioku. Together, let's take on the Daily Trust newspaper once more. The Daily Trust here reads as headline, Wike Fubara feud continues to put Rivers on edge. That story is on page 12 of the Daily Trust. It reads, also consider economic indices before banks recapitalization. Experts tells CBN. Page 23 is where the details is in full. Confusion as Lagos Abuja flight diverted over weather. All right, page 35 is where that story is in full. So a lot of people were like, how come a flight that was headed to Abuja landed in somewhere in the southeast? And I'm like, well, if there was an issue for the pilot and it's not helping him to land, of course they cannot keep hovering over the skies. They need to land somewhere. So where they land for safety's sake should not be the matter on ground. All right. We move on to the main headline on the Daily Trust. It reads here 5.6 billion naira with Project Scam. Ex-Nersal boss arrested 11 months after sacking. Nabbed lobbying for reappointment. Bolts away 32 official vehicles. No comments. DSS. All right, it's interesting how a government official would be bold enough to withhold 32. We're not saying one or two. 32 official vehicles. Does he want to start a new car stand?
I don't know.
I don't understand it. The effrontery, the boldness, as in what is his backing for him to have the effrontery to withhold or bolt away, as the paper reports it. 32 official vehicles. I mean, this is insane. But anyway, read the details of that story from the pages of the Daily Trust newspaper. And we'll take this headlines. It says, federal government raises committee to crash cooking gas price. Tinubu pledges full university autonomy. ECOWAS court orders amendment of Nigeria Press Council Act. All right, that's all the headline we'll be taking on the Daily Trust. But let's go to the top of this paper and talk about Wike. It looks like Wike is always on the news every week. Sometimes I argue with my friends that he's one of the most popular persons in this current administration. I mean, if you don't know anybody in Bola Tinubu's cabinet, you know the Minister of the FCT, former Governor Wike. All right, and this time again, he's on the news and he says Fubara feud continues to put River State on the edge. Did you watch the interview he had with some seasoned journalists where he was able to at least voice out some of his worries and his discomfort about the current governor? He even went ahead to use words like he's ungrateful and he doesn't like ungrateful people, and they give a man money and power and then his true character will be revealed. Do you see the fight between Governor Tinubu and Governor Fubara and Wike going away anytime soon?
No, I don't see it going away anytime soon because of this second, episode. The second episode of the whole thing, I don't see it going out. And we know that Wike does not really forgive.
We've heard that many times.
Yeah, he does not really forgive.
He doesn't forgive.
So I don't see just going out there. So you also ask the question. He's saying that when the governor heard that he was going to be impeached, why didn't he call him? So he has also now stated the fact that he wants to also be in control of what is happening in Rivers State while he's away in Abuja. More like he's still a governor of Rivers State, meaning that he's going for, in quotes, 16 years. His plan is to govern the state for 16 years. Why can't you allow the young man? Yes, everybody knows that you single-handedly put him there. But can't you give him some space to also work? Okay? I also have to say, yes, we know he's an entitled man, but I think he's taking it over the bar. Okay? And you also ask the question, the papers that came out with respect to the expenditure that has been made, you find out that there are some areas that you now have to question, both Fubara and Wike. Some monies that has been spent, like the one that say they spent 37 billion on printers, not computers. And the one that they spent about 38 billion, if I'm getting my numbers right, on the special projects, without putting in what projects.
What's the special projects were?
Okay, and we've also heard, although I'm not here to sound any rumor, but then we've also heard a situation whereby they say that the ring road, that money has been collected in front, okay, for the ring road, meaning that they've put aside their own money. And we've also been hearing these rumors, sorry guys, but then we'll also be hearing these strong rumors about the bridges that were constructed by Wike, that some monies from the bridges were his money, were allotted to him from the back door. So these are when you now start seeing what is happening right now, you'll be like, oh, all those news you were hearing back then, that it could be the truth. Okay. We don't want River State to be heated up.
Yeah.
We know how diverse the state is. We know how heated up this state can be when it comes to politics. Right now, Wike also accused him of turning the whole thing into an ethnic crisis. Because you have been seeing people coming out, Ijaw people coming out to say, Wike, you cannot do anything. This Ijaw man must be here. You cannot remove him. You cannot remove an Ijaw man. In fact, the question now came out that is he even really an Ijaw person? As in the governor of Fubara also had to come out to say, I'm a full bona fide Ijaw man. Oh, come on. We don't want such crisis. And let's not also push aside that one life has already been lost. The young man that was killed during the protest. Yeah. We don't want more lives to be lost. These two men should come together and settle their rift. Let River State be peaceful. They should know that many Nigerians have left the border of this state because of insecurity. They should not hit this politics.
Yeah, we don't need that to creep back in. And then again, my question to the Minister of the FCT is that, are you saying that you don't know who you put there? I mean, you went against everyone, all the capable hands, all the trusted hands. You said you don't trust them. And then you single-handedly picked Governor Fubara and made him the governor of the state. So that would mean that you saw something in him. That would mean that as dogged as you were as a governor, as hard-footed as you were as a governor, you were really a tough man. You had things under control. That would mean that you believe that this young man can hold things under control. And so I don't understand why the interference, the high level of interference that you are being accused of. So all I'm saying is, if you think that he is capable of running the state with your guidance, then please let the man run the state. Just do the father role, which is guidance. I mean, you're not the first godfather that Nigerian politics have witnessed. We have the current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, being the political godfather in Lagos State for years. And
Ogun State.
And Ogun State, yeah. And then never did we hear plenty drama. The very one time we had those kind of drama between Ambode and him, we knew how it ended. There was no row, it was a matter of, okay, since you cannot do the things that we agreed on, step aside.
And he was allowed to finish his term.
Finish his term, not in the middle of, not according to you. Let me use the governor's, the FCT minister's terms. 3 months, just barely 3 months. So that barely 3 months that you're saying that Sim is trying to scatter everything in 3 months can be said about you too. In 3 months, how come you want to scatter the structure that you so, dearly hold? So I just feel that you should, give room for reasoning, and then let's calm return.
Please, lastly, if you allow me, you find out that Wike has also forgotten where he came from. That he did not just rise to be a governor overnight.
He said he worked hard.
Yeah, he worked hard. Not always he worked hard, but he should note that people like Amici also helped him up there. And what happened? He betrayed them. Let's not shy away from that.
Oh, so now he hates betrayal, but he has also betrayed others. I mean, we know the story between him and Amici. I mean, they were like brothers, twin brothers for that matter. All, brought up by the then Governor Peter Odili. And so here we are. So if we're talking about betrayal, Amici betrayed, Wike betrayed. They all have betrayals as politicians. So now he's saying his son wants to, in fact, he keeps saying that he doesn't know the Fubara guy anymore. That he has been giving money and power, so now he doesn't know him anymore. So, well, let's see how that plays out. But the most important thing is that, that seat of the governor is not about any man. It's about the people in River State. So if because of one man, River State is going to River State is going to, go into chaos, then of course, I don't think River State people are going to let that happen. So that's why I'm going to say that the Minister of the FCT needs to watch it. We know that sometimes maybe all these interview grants and all the things he says is because he wants to be in the news. The guy likes attention a lot. He wants to be in the news always. But then, while you're in the news, please, let's have some peace in River State. Allow Governor Fubara to at least complete his first term. And then the power that you said you have, you can take him out. I mean, you can. I believe, I know that Governor Wike, with the level of political structure he has, not just in River State, in the South, he can take out Governor Fubara at the end of the first 4 term. But as a sitting governor, attempts to do that might be met with a high level of resistance that can just destroy everything that the governor is building. So we just hope that he's in his 60s these days, so he should know better. And of course, he has years and years of political experience, so he should know better. Well, but you hear the way he talks, you begin to worry. Does he want to destroy everything, or he's going to manage it properly? Well, let's watch and see. All right, I want to thank you so much, Victor. That's what we're going to draw our curtains for today. Make sure you subscribe to this channel by clicking on the subscribe button. And of course, don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and of course on X, formerly known as Twitter. So yeah, connect with us on all of these platforms. And until next time, we'll come your way again. My name is William Sapile, and I'll see you next time.